anyway! I'd rather die fighting! I am Atreyu!
You think you know the NeverEnding Story? Think again. It's one of those magical movies that defined the childhood of an entire generation. A mix of fantasy, wonder, and a strange touch of darkness that you can still feel decades later. Released in 1984, it pulled audiences deep into a world called Fantasia, a place where imagination ruled, and the only limit was how much you believed. But behind the dreamy visuals and heartwarming message lies a world of strange details, creative chaos, and little-known truths that make the movie even more fascinating. Let's dive into 12 weird facts about The NeverEnding Story, the movie that proved imagination really never ends. Fact 1. It was the most expensive German film ever made back in 1984. Hollywood had never seen a German production on this scale. With a budget of nearly $27 million, it became the most expensive film in German cinema history at that time. Every penny went into elaborate sets, massive animatronics, and visual effects that were revolutionary for the era. Director Wolfgang Petersen pushed the limits of technology, using huge sound stages at Bavaria Film Studios in Munich. The production was so large, many called it Germany's Star Wars. It was a huge gamble, but one that paid off by creating a fantasy world that still feels real today. Fact 2. The author hated the movie. Here's where things get complicated. The movie was based on the best-selling novel by German writer Michael Ende, but Ende absolutely despised the film version. He called it revolting, saying it distorted the message of his story. He was so upset that he demanded his name be removed from the opening credits. He believed the movie turned a deep, philosophical tale about imagination and self-discovery into just another fantasy adventure. Still, the irony? Even though he hated it, the film made his book world famous. Fact 3. Atreyu was almost painted green Noah Hathaway. The young actor who played Atreyu went through a wild experience on set. In the original concept, the filmmakers wanted Atreyu's skin to be green, just like in the book. The makeup team tried it, and it looked awful. Hathaway later joked that it made him look like he was covered in mold. So they dropped the idea, and Atreyu stayed human-colored. It's a good thing they did. That bright green look would have been distracting in every close-up. Fact 4. Falkor was a giant animatronic creature. Everyone remembers Falkor, the luck dragon, the fluffy, pink, dog-like creature that helped Atreyu soar across Fantasia. But few people know that Falkor was a 43-foot-long animatronic puppet covered in 6,000 plastic scales and real pink feathers. It took 16 people to operate him, one for each eye, another for the mouth, others for the tail and ears. Inside that massive prop was a web of motors, cables and pulleys, pure 1980s mechanical magic. No CGI, no shortcuts, just engineering genius. Fact 5. One actor, voiced 4 characters voice actor Alan Oppenheimer pulled off an incredible feat. He voiced Falkor, Gmork the wolf, Rockbiter, and even the narrator. That's 4 major roles, all by the same man. He switched between gentle warmth, terrifying growls, and booming rock voices like a one-man theater troupe. If you listen closely, you can recognize the same tone under each performance, a hidden layer of brilliance most fans never caught. Fact 6. You can still ride Falkor. Today, yes. You read that right. At Bavaria Film Park in Munich, Germany, the original studio where the movie was shot, the life-sized Falkor still exists. Visitors can actually sit on his back, pose for photos, and feel like they're flying through the skies of Fantasia. It's one of the most beloved attractions at the studio, a nostalgic reminder that the magic of childhood doesn't have to fade. Fact 7. The film only covers half the book. If you've read Michael Ende's original novel, you'll notice something big. The movie ends halfway through the story. The book continues far beyond where the film stops. In the second half, Bastian enters Fantasia himself and slowly loses his memories as he tries to become a hero. That darker, more psychological storyline never made it into the film, partly because it was too complex and heavy for children, so what most fans think of as the whole story is really just part 1. Fact 8. The Nothing was just a storm. The terrifying black storm called the Nothing, the force that devours Fantasia, wasn't a digital effect. It was a real storm built from smoke machines, wind turbines, and miniature models. In close-up shots, it looks like a monstrous void, but it was actually practical effects and clever camera work. The Nothing wasn't just a villain, it was a symbol. It represented the loss of imagination in the human world, a theme that hits even harder today. Fact 9. The movie's language was redubbed even though the movie is in English. Most of it was filmed by a German crew with international actors. That meant many performers weren't fluent in English, so a lot of their lines were redubbed later. If you rewatch carefully, you can sometimes notice small mismatches between lips and dialogue. It's subtle, but it adds a strange, dreamlike feeling to the whole film, part of why it feels both real and surreal at the same time. Fact 10. The childlike empress never acted again. Tommy Stronach, who played the childlike empress, was only 10 years old when she filmed her famous role. Her hauntingly calm performance became one of the movie's most iconic moments. But after the film, she never acted in another movie again. Her parents wanted her to live a normal childhood away from Hollywood. She grew up to become a professional dancer and choreographer, but that one performance made her immortal in film. History, fact 11. The theme song became a global hit even if you haven't seen the movie in years. You probably remember that synth-heavy pop song, The NeverEnding Story by Limahl. It became a massive hit across Europe and America, reaching top chart positions and defining 80s nostalgia. Decades later, the song reappeared in Stranger Things, instantly reviving its popularity for a whole new generation. It's one of those rare film songs that never fades away, catchy, emotional, and timeless. Fact 12. Every creature was handmade. There was no CGI in the NeverEnding Story. Every creature, from Falkor to Morla, the giant turtle, was a puppet, animatronic, or costume. The team built everything by hand, layer by layer, using foam, fur, paint, and mechanical parts. It took months to design and coordinate these creatures, and it shows. The world feels tangible, textured, and real. That's why, even 40 years later, it still holds up better than many modern CGI-heavy films. Conclusion. The NeverEnding Story isn't just a movie. It's a piece of 80s magic frozen in time. It blended fantasy, philosophy, and emotion in a way that few films ever have. Behind its beauty lies the sweat of artists, engineers, and dreamers who believed in creating something unforgettable, long before digital shortcuts existed. It's strange. It's imperfect. It's emotional, and maybe that's exactly why it still matters. Because the NeverEnding Story reminds us that imagination isn't just for kids, it's the thing that keeps life from turning gray, the spark that makes us believe again, even when the world feels empty. So next time you hear that theme song or see Falkor flying through the clouds, remember when this story was never just a fairy tale, it was a message. That imagination truly never ends.